How are you ding-dong diddly doing there, gamerinos? Hope you're having a flanderific day. Hey, Slicks. Yeah, I can't gaslight you today since I'm so late to the stream. Um, yeah, I was finishing, Spaceballs. So funny, so stupid, and honestly, it was better in every way than the sequel trilogy, which is sad to say. Like the the romance in it was better, made more sense. There was a clear plot. I mean, I guess to be fair, it's not like there's other Spaceball movies that could possibly contradict the plot of the first Spaceball movie, but you know, I'm gonna say that everything in the universe makes sense, which is more than Disney Star Wars. Um, Slicks, you need to watch it. It's so funny. It's so stupid. Um, I would highly recommend anyone to watch that, even if you're not a fan of Star Wars. It's still a funny movie. Like, if you don't like Star Wars, you could still find this movie to be really funny, just making fun of the entire sci-fi genre, basically. Because it doesn't just make fun of Star Wars, it makes fun of Star Trek, and hell, even Alien at one point. What? Nacho Libre, Napoleon Dynamite, Hot Rod. I have seen, I think I've seen Nacho Libre, but it's been so long ago I wouldn't even remember much of the movie if I have seen it. I've seen Napoleon Dynamite once, but it was the same deal. It was so long ago I really couldn't tell you that much about the movie other than, "You squished my tots!" which I thought was funny. Hot Rod I have never even heard of. But yeah, definitely gotta check out Spaceballs. You would love it, Slicks. It's just so dumb. But it's like, it's so dumb in all the right ways. It's even got a... Oh, what's his name? Michael Winslow. He's in it. And he does some sound effects, of course. And it's a really funny scene. And of course, it's Michael Winslow, so all of the sound effects he does are really, really good. Which makes the scene even funnier. As a kid, I couldn't comprehend that that man was making those sounds. It's like, nah, they gotta be dubbing something in. There's no way that someone could make those sounds. I was wrong. Michael Winslow is pretty incredible. So in the last episode, I was talking about the prequels, since I had just recently rewatched those. And something that I left out, or at least I think I left this out, because I was so distracted with Harry Potter being, well, you know, an actual game. But something from the first movie that I wish they would have played up more, that would have made the movie way better, is slavery. Like, think about it, alright? Anakin is a kid who grew up as a slave, and he knows how bad it can be. I mean, he probably didn't have it as bad as some of the other slaves that we've seen in other Star Wars content. Like, what the Empire was doing to Wookiees, and like, some of the stuff we saw in the Clone Wars, like, it didn't look that bad. But, obviously being a slave is not a good experience, no matter how oppressive it is. And the fact that Anakin couldn't go back to save his mother from that, when he absolutely had the power to do so, I feel like that would have been a much better reason for him to kind of, like, start to resent the Jedi. Like, because I feel like they kind of set that up in The Phantom Menace, but they dropped it in Attack of the Clones. Like, I mean, they had the one scene with his mother, sure, which was, it's a good scene. But I thought that it was kind of dumb afterwards that Anakin was like, this is Obi-Wan's fault, and saying that, oh, I'm not powerful enough. It's like, what? You showed up a month late because the Jedi wouldn't let you go and save your mother. I feel like that would be a pretty big beef you would have with the Jedi, a pretty reasonable big beef that you would have with the Jedi that, I don't know, might lead to you killing all of them when some dude who's your friend is like, yo, these guys are kind of fucked up and I can help you. I don't know. That's just me. I feel like that would have made the movie way better. Because, like, I understand. I get it. Anakin is supposed to be an awkward, angsty teenager, and I feel like Hayden Christensen did a really good job with that. I don't think his acting was off point, but I think that some of the writing was off point. Because, again, that same whiny, angsty, awkward Anakin would have worked well if he had a reason to be so whiny and angsty, And he had plenty of reason, but I guess the writers just forgot about that or something? I don't know. That, I feel like, is a pretty major criticism I have with this movie, because, again, when he starts going off on Obi-Wan, like, we see Obi-Wan say, like, oh, he's not ready to be on his own mission, or on his own for the mission, or whatever. But other than that, he seems pretty cool with Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan seems pretty cool to him. He even says that Obi-Wan is like a father to him. So I don't get the deal. I thought that was really stupid and kind of annoying, when you could have had the same effect, but it makes sense, if you get what I'm going for. Let's see. I feel like there were some other things I wanted to say about the movie as well. Jar Jar Binks is really not that bad. Everyone is complaining. Upon rewatch, like, at first, you can go back, you can watch all of my LEGO Star Wars content where Jar Jar Binks is there, and you can hear me hate on him. Be like, oh, he's kind of the worst. And it's like, upon rewatch, he really wasn't that bad. And a lot of people were freaking out over nothing. Like, does he do some stupid shit? Yeah. Is it, like, detrimental to the plot? No. It's really, really not. He was just supposed to be there for some comic relief. And did it maybe go a bit too far? Maybe. I'm not saying that Jar Jar Binks is the greatest character in all of Star Wars. I'm just saying he doesn't deserve all the hate. Another thing I'd like to say is it's unbelievable that people were like getting mad at Ahmed Best, I believe that's his name. I can't believe people were getting upset with him over it. Like to the point where he wanted to like kill himself. Like, what the fuck? The man gave a really good performance. Like, what are you on about? What are you upset about? Like, the character of Jar Jar was supposed to be a goofy, clumsy, but kinda lovable character who's just comic relief. He does silly and stupid things. And honestly, Ahmed Best did a really good job. That is exactly the performance he gave. And if you didn't like that, then that's not his fault. He did what he was told to do properly. Your problem lies with George Lucas. You didn't like the writing. And I think it's funny that all of these people who are out there in the name of social justice, or who's saying like, oh, Jar Jar bad, Jar Jar racist, the person that you affected the most was the black actor who did his job and nothing more. Like, that's the person you hurt the most. Like, that's ridiculous. I don't know. But I will say, thank you, Ahmed Best. You did a good job as Jar Jar. And we're all very glad that you did not kill yourself. And I'm sure there's... I was never one of these people that hated on Jar Jar, but, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of people who did that would like to apologize. Because that was very not cool. And honestly, same goes for I think his name is Jake Lloyd, who played Anakin. Same thing, that was a fucking kid. And he really didn't give a bad performance. He acted like a kid. Like, could his acting have been a little bit better in the movie at times? Maybe, but also he's a kid. He's a kid. Jesus, I don't know what you all were expecting of him. He did just fine. And again, can't say I was ever one of those young Anakin haters, but again, I'm sure there's a lot of people that would like to apologize to Jake Lloyd. And again, Jake Lloyd, you did a very good job as young Anakin. There was nothing wrong with your performance whatsoever. And a lot of people are freaking out over nothing. It's a little unbelievable. And again, if you didn't like the fact that Anakin was a little kid, why are you getting angry at the little kid who played him and not the man who wrote him to be a little kid? And I'm not even saying George Lucas was wrong in doing such. I thought the movie was fine. I really like Phantom Menace. I think it's one of my favorite Star Wars movies. I don't think it's better than the originals, but I really like the movie. It's got a very special place in my heart. So yeah, I don't know. The biggest thing that I think should be changed from, well, the two biggest things that I think should be changed from The Phantom Menace, if you had to change anything at all, would be Darth Maul gets pushed down the shaft instead of him getting cut in half, because that makes him coming back look not stupid. And then secondly, what I would do is in the very beginning scene of the movie, well, I guess it's not the very beginning scene, but one of the very beginning scenes of the movie, where the Trade Federation is trying to kill Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon on board the ship, and they send in the gas. I think it would have been cooler, instead of Newt Gunray being like, oh, they're probably dead right now, and opening the thing, to have, like, the battle droids surrounding it, right? And then, like, everything looks normal, and then maybe he does give the line, oh, they gotta be dead. But then, like, for the first time in the movie, Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon light up their lightsabers, and they cut open the door, and they start, like, attacking the battle droids. Like, that would be really cool. That would be something that should actually be changed in the movie. That was something that, like, again, not a big deal, but it would have been way cooler. But, like, that's a genuine criticism of that movie. Instead of attacking a child and a man who actually did really well at what he was told to do. I feel like I had more Attack of the Clones is stinky, but... oh, the writing. Like, I understand that Anakin has never really talked to a girl, and he's awkward, and whatever, but, yo, that writing, though. Ooh, I am haunted by the kiss you should never have given me. I don't like sand. It's coarse, rough, and irritating, and gets everywhere. Not like here, where everything is smooth and soft. Just God. How could Hayden Christensen get those words out of his mouth without laughing? Whew, that writing, man. So bad. Oh my god, speaking of bad writing, I'm sorry. I just thought of this while I was watching Spaceballs. There's the final confrontation between the evil Dark Helmet and our character Lone Star. Okay? And basically there's just all of this dramatic dialogue that's going on, but it's really corny, and it's like, oh my god, this is the Acolyte. This is straight up the Acolyte. Because I'm so sorry to inform you of this, folks. I hope you don't unsubscribe or unfollow from the channel. But I was watching this YouTube video where the guy does like deep fakes of himself as Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan and Anakin, and they watch through Star Wars content. And they watched through episode 1 of The Acolyte. So I watched that. Oh my god. How did people like that? First of all, it was boring. Boring as fuck. It was mind-numbing. Literally mind-numbing. Like, I'm just sitting here, they're saying words and things are happening, but it's just like, oh my god. I know I sound like a prequel hater right now, but, like, the difference is the corny dialogue I'm hating on isn't, like, moving the well, actually, no, it is supposed to be moving the plot forward, though. Like, you've got the the Jedi killer, alright? The sympathetic Sith, or whatever, who kills the Trinity. She's like, what does she say? Take out your weapon and attack me with the fiercest attack you can muster. Or something like that. And it's followed up with, a Jedi never pulls out a lightsaber unless they are prepared to kill something. And it's like, oh my god. I'm gonna puke. It's just so bad. Like, how can you sit there, write that, and be like, that's really good. If you're gonna write something to be really corny or kind of nonsensical, at least do it for shock value. Like, that's what George Lucas did. Like, you think that in the first movie, he knew that Darth Vader was going to be Luke's father and that Leia was going to be his sister? Fuck no, he didn't. Fuck no, he didn't. But it was so surprising. It was so shocking. And it had people so interested that it almost didn't matter. Isn't that something? Because if you think about it, it's kind of lazy. It's kind of a lazy writing thing. I'm not even gonna lie. I like the OT trilogy a lot. But you're not gonna sit here and tell me that is the most creative and original thing that could have ever possibly had been come up with, you know. But, yeah. At least do it for shock value. The Acolyte just, it says things, and it's like you're supposed to be like, ooh, but it just comes off as people shouting things in, like, stereotypical fashion. And it just takes away any kind of tension, because it's just so obvious that it's so ham-fisted. And also, it's... I know, I saw people saying this, but I gotta agree. It's really fucking confusing that the main character is a twin of the evil main character, the antagonist. And they look exactly alike and talk exactly alike. Like, yeah, okay. That doesn't add to your show unless you're not gonna tell everyone that she's a twin, but you already did that at the beginning of the first fucking episode, so It's dumb. It's dumb. These people are dumb. And then you've got suckers. Absolute suckers out here lapping it up like, oh, it's so good. And then you go ahead and you present them any... No. This is the best part. They're like, oh, you're a racist and a sexist. Yuck. You must hate women, you incel. Just because you don't like the show means that you must hate all gay people. And shit like that. And it's like, but you give them any bit of valid, genuine criticism on why the show sucks, and guess what? Crickets. They all disappear. It's almost like the people who don't like the show don't like it not because there's women and minorities and gay people, but because the show was poorly written and solely crafted around DEI. I don't know. It's almost like people don't like propaganda. It's almost like they want a fucking Star Wars show if they tune in to Star Wars. But I don't know, that's a hot take. I guess. I guess. I don't understand how. Because, I mean, you know, they say that all Star Wars fans are these horrible, horrible, horrible racists and sexists, and they hate all women, and they hate all minorities, and this, and it's like, but you know, I've never heard any of these people be like, man, Lando really sucks, or man, I don't like Leia. Like, nobody says this shit. Like, oh, yeah, I don't like Mace Windu. Mace Windu was really terrible. He wasn't a cool character at all. Like, it's just such a joke. When you take a look at what's being said, and you apply any bit of critical thinking at all, it's like, uh-oh. Uh-oh, abandoned ship. Argument is sunk. Uh-oh. Like, yeah. Let me just pile on. You've never heard anyone say, oh man, I really, really don't like Padme. Or Shakti isn't very cool. As a matter of fact, Shakti is so cool, they gotta keep bringing her back to kill her. Unfortunately. I don't understand how this battlement is not clean. What part of it isn't clean here? Am I dumb here, chat? Who is? Yeah, I must be dumb because I'm talking to nobody. I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm not talking to nobody right now because, like, people will foreseeably watch the YouTube video. So I'm talking to you? Hello? Hello, you? Okay. Alright. It's clean, I guess. Sure. You know, I wonder, I don't know if this would work, but I wonder if, like, we the fans got together for Star Wars, right? And wrote out, like, a movie that we would want to see. And then went and, like, pitched it to Lucasfilms if they would make the movie and make it exactly as we want it. Probably not, but would be an interesting experiment. Actually, I know that wouldn't work. What the fuck am I thinking about? George Lucas himself handed them a script, and he was like, they were like, yeah, nah, don't eat it. But I don't know, they are kind of desperate right now. Like, if silencing critics for shitting on the Acolyte isn't desperate, I don't know what desperate is. Oh, there's still so much of this left. It's crazy. Oh, I got my, so I got a copy of TNT by AC/DC. It's a Australian-only release, and it's basically the EP that AC/DC released only in Australia before their first album, High Voltage. So I got a copy of that. Pretty rare. Actually, really rare. Okay? Costs a lot of money. And it had a skip on TNT, of all songs. And I took it in to get it fixed, and I am so happy to report that it plays perfectly fine now. I was really concerned about that. Well, I guess I was really concerned about it at first. Because I was like, oh my god, I don't know. But then when I looked at it, I was like, I see a scratch here. I bet this could be fixed. And when I showed it to my boss, he was like, oh, okay, alright. Played it. We heard, it didn't skip on his table, oddly enough, but it did pop at the time where the skip would occur. So from that, he was able to fix it. And I also got, Who Made Who by AC/DC as well. It's like a cool compilation, but it's got some new songs on it. I think it might even be a soundtrack to a movie. I got I Never Loved a Man the Way I Loved You by Aretha Franklin. Amazing. She's incredible. One of the best voices in all of music. I got an Ella Fitzgerald album. Again, incredible voice. The only thing with Ella Fitzgerald is, like, some of her music sounds real old. Which I'm not a huge fan of, but her voice just, it's so good that it almost doesn't even matter. What else did I get? I got a Ray Charles album. Ray Charles is pretty cool. Got a Stan Getz album. It's jazz. Really good jazz, by the way. If you're like, I don't know if jazz is for me, I would say Stan Getz would be one of the ones that you should, like, listen to. Either him or, like, Miles Davis, or number one would be Dave Brubeck Quartet. That's just a great starting point. That's where I got my starting point with jazz. On Time Out. It's just so good. Like, it's a... I don't know if you can say this for a jazz album, but I'm gonna say it anyway. It's a banger from start to finish. Like, Blue Rondo a la Turk is incredible. And, you've got Kathy's Waltz, and Take 5. Can't think of what else is on the album right now. But, yeah. One of my favorite jazz albums of all time. I already talked about the Weird Al album I got. Hmm. I think I already talked about the Roxy Music album I got, too. I guess that's it. Yeah. And I've just been going back and, like, listening to some records I've got. Like, I was listening to a Roy Ayers album today, which is really good. Daddy Bug is the album. It's almost kind of like elevator music meets jazz. It's good. It's just very relaxing. What else? Oh, I listened to Attila, too, which is well, it was Billy Joel's band before he went solo. And they do not make Billy Joel music. Their music is way cooler than Billy Joel's solo shit. Yeah, I've only got one Billy Joel album, and I didn't pay for it. It was given to me. It's The Stranger if you're interested, if you're curious. And I have no other Billy Joel albums and no other desire to get Billy Joel albums. Sorry, Billy Joel. Tilla's cool, though. Oh, and I also listened to my, Bo Hansen album. I think that's how you say it, Bo Hansen. It's a Swedish group, and they had this album that was, like, inspired by Lord of the Rings. So I went through and I listened to the first side of the album because I had gotten to all the points in the book. And yeah, it's amazing. Really, really great. I definitely, like, Fog on the Barrow Downs, like, I could see that fitting in so well in the book. And, like, the House of Elrond, that is the definitive, like, sound of Rivendell. I wanted to say Lothlorien so badly. There we go. I was gonna say, that window is being real tough. Slicks, can you hear me? Slicks, have you heard all of my ranting? Slicks! Oh, sad. I was gonna ask him how he was set for gaming tomorrow. Beautiful. I really wish that I could, like, play records for y'all. Like, that would be such an awesome stream. Because I could just be like, oh yeah, we're gonna listen to Four Non Blondes. Yeah, this album came out in the 90s. The band only had like one album, you know, this one here. But it was but What's Up was a massive hit. And then, you know, I'd play a little bit of the album for you, and maybe I'd have a camera so I could like show you it and show you the inner sleeve and all of that shit. Like, tell you my thoughts on, like, all the songs or something. But, wow, this is one really strong arrow. But yeah, can't do that. Cause YouTube, or, well, yeah, YouTube and Twitch would spank me. The arrow is dirty. Oh, well, that reminds me of one of my favorite albums. Me and My Arrow. No one's gonna know what that album is, but I love it. It's great. It resonated really well with me. Very, very fun album. And the music is good. I don't know, I'm a sucker for a good story. And then if you can find a way to naturally incorporate music in not a weird way, like, I am all for it. And since it's an album, it does a really good job of that. And it tells a pretty decent story. Like, it's definitely very 70s, far out, trippy, but it's great. And I think Nielsen is a really talented artist. Greatly underappreciated. Oh my gosh, we still have so much of this left. This is, like, insane. Like, I wanted to get everything down to the ground level today, which is why I've been going around in a really weird fashion this entire episode.
Which is why I've been walking around in a really goofy fashion.
Oh, that was terrible. But I can't, like, I can't be loud. And you gotta be loud to do Patrick. You can't quietly do Patrick. Like, even if you were trying to whisper to do Patrick, you would still have to be loud. It's just his character. Like J. Jonah Jameson. Same deal. Or like Beavis. You know, it's funny, we haven't had our Sun Temple incident in a while. I don't know if it's over with, or if it's just, you know how it goes. It's just gonna be one of those things that pops up when you least expect it. But, I mean, I can't even say, well, honestly, it's funny, I think the meaning of Sun Temple incident has changed, but regardless, I think that it's still pretty obvious. If you know, you know. Because, like, I don't know, I've been doing what has been wanted, I guess. But, just think it's funny that that is not returned. Not surprising. Not really. But it's fine, because honestly, at this point, it just kind of brings me down. You know? Whenever that just... Oh, this is part of the border? Oh my god, I feel like a moron. I'm like, why is this not being cleaned? That would be why it's not being cleaned. It's just part of the border. There we go. Thank you, God. But yeah. I mean, I don't know, I haven't made it horribly known, so that could be part of it, but like I said, it's just... It just brings me down, and I don't want to deal with it, you know? Which is a shame, because I didn't used to feel that way, but... I feel like ever since I got affiliate, that's just been the case. Like it's just been... I don't know. Like I said, I think there's some, like, resentment there, so... That is why I think it's been weird. So, I mean, obviously it makes it weird for me. Pretty weird. Pretty like, yo, what the fuck? Pretty like, yo, I wouldn't do this to you. You know? So that's where I'm at with that. You know, and it's funny. It's almost like Attack of the Clones. It's like, okay, I understand that, like, maybe that's not how you wanted the timeline to play out. But how is that my fault? You know? I understand this is not the ideal situation that you wanted. I don't know why you'd be so anti-me. I don't know what I did. But regardless of the point, why are you, like, resentful towards me? Like I stole something, you know? And that's just, I don't know, that's just what it is. It's like when Anakin is getting upset at Obi-Wan for no reason, despite the fact that Obi-Wan really hasn't done anything, like, to Anakin at all. He's just kind of been chillin', being the Kenobsters. I feel that. I feel that. That's me. I'm just out here being the Kenobsters. And I'm getting resentment for literally no reason. Like, I don't know. But it's not like I did that. So, I don't know. I don't know. I probably have said too much. I don't know. And honestly, I'm just kind of at a point. I just don't give a fuck. I'm just too tired to deal with it all. Just don't care. Like, I'm not gonna go out of my way to fucking try, you know? Even though I kinda have been. You know? Well, I mean, I guess that's why I'm thankful for my real ones, you know? And I know who's my real ones. They're the boys you see all the time. Well, and I guess Abba too. I give her maternal leave so she doesn't have to be here. Well, and you know, honestly, you know, that obviously 100% is a joke, but that is something I would like to say. It's like, I understand that, you know, not everybody's gonna be able to make it to every single one of my streams, and that's okay. That is totally okay. That is not your fault. You have no obligation to be here whatsoever. It's cool if you are, but if you're not, I'm not gonna break your balls over it. So, I just want to make that very clear. I'm not saying that everybody's got to show up here all the time, you know. It's not the way it works. Life happens, things happen. Sometimes you just don't want to be here. And that is totally understandable. Because I can tell you right now, while I'm sitting here editing this video on Friday, possibly Saturday, maybe Sunday, one of those days, possibly, actually probably Friday, because I'm going to be working Thursday, so yeah, probably Friday, but regardless, I'm not going to want to be watching this stream. It's like, it's okay. I get it, but I love it when you're here. Because I know there's a lot of people out there with the subscribe or die mentality, regardless of what's going on. Regardless of your schedules. Because I know, like, Otto can't, like, be here all the time because, you know, he's got work. What am I gonna do? Be like, yo, you're an asshole for not showing up because you're at work? Like, come on. I would be ridiculous. I would look like a fool if I was to do that. Like, no. It's just, it's not something I believe in. I feel like it's kind of bullying, peer pressuring. I don't know. I'm not about it. We're a chill channel. At least, try to be. I can't help it if I am riled. But I don't try to rile myself. Well, except for maybe Titan Souls. Titan Souls, I was trying to rile myself. Will admit. There we go. I was gonna say, I know this is its own separate thing. Well, that was cathartic, I should say. This whole episode has been. It's gone on later than what I would have liked, but then again, I had to do a full stream because I fucking was watching Spaceballs, and I was like,
Oh, I'm not gonna just stop Spaceballs for like 20 minutes and then go watch it, and there'll only be 20 minutes of the movie left.
so a soul for a soul, perfectly balanced as all things should be. Man, for a second, I just want you to compare that line of dialogue between, like, strike me down with your fiercest attack, and tell me which one sounds cooler. I'm gonna say a soul for a soul, perfectly balanced as all things should be. That sounds like, yeah, way cooler. Sounds way less lame. What the fuck is this thing? Do I have to clean the... like, oh. Be a golf club. Ultra. A golf club. Okay. That's clean. Ooh, a poop bucket. Guess we gotta clean the poop bucket. Wouldn't you just get a new bucket, though? I'm pretty sure pressure washing a bucket like this would do more damage to the bucket than it would, like, cleaning it. This is not a job for a pressure washer. There we go. Come on. There we go. Oh, wow. I missed a whole lot of shit. Are all of these rocks considered like one rock? Is that why nothing is getting clean? Why is nothing being cleaned? I'm super confused. Is it trying to say this is just one big rock? Oh, yeah, it was. Okay. There we go. Yeah, it's time to end the episode. There's still so much fucking left here. We've got this whole front entrance area. We got this whole back part. Oh my god. Oh my god! Oh my god, I forgot about that. Jesus. Alright, well, thank you so much for watching, Slicks. Thank you to anyone else who may have tuned in and didn't chat with me. I really appreciate it. And thank you to the YouTube crowd who's gonna like and subscribe, god damn it. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye. Or actually, let me save.